of the Stockton Sanitary Board for the Board of Stockton County Commissioners. Roll call.
Roll call I have as here, Judy Smith, here, Mark Schul,
Here.
Paul Savis,
Present.
Laura Edmonds.
I'm not a part of it.
No, you're the county.
Oh, present.
Okay, and then there I have Shirley Byrne,
Here.
Lauren Bell,
Present.
Matt Bunch,
Yeah.
Raylene Kameyer, Ms. Lauren on deck,
Lauren's online.
Lauren Humphreys on Zoom, Jake Wilson, and Sarah Nadenheim. Here.
Here.
Office staff, I have Brian Crow, Megan Meisner, Sabrina Smith, and Anna Russell. Yes, I have Clay Rose, Jim Williams, Wanda Conlon, and Amy and Jeremy Toder, and I didn't get your name.
It's Michelle. Michelle.
Michelle?
Harris.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Tony. Tony's.
Oh, Tony, that manager, yeah, Tony.
Any additions to write on this one? All right, let's start with the introductions. We'll start with the county commissioners.
Hi, Judy Smith, Chair of Congress County Commissioners.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Mark Shaw. Afternoon, Commissioner Paul Savis. Jake Wilson.
Sarah Montenham, Airport.
Lauren Bell.
Shirley Byrne.
Not much.
Raylene Kameyer, Secretary.
Brian Crowe, Executive Director of the Event Center.
Megan Meisner, Finance. Trina Smith, Special Events Manager.
Karen Russell, Active Marketing Coordinator.
Go ahead, Tony, tell us what you're doing.
Tony Merrick, Clerk to the Board of County Commissioners.
In setting up the agenda, we felt that it was real important to, get the commissioners up to date on where we're at with the building. So, we're gonna go into the executive director's report and then the building, and then we'll go with the cross-pollinated question. Okay, well, we're gonna look at 2023 in review. We had a very good year. I run our business here in the county with the patron in mind. So I've come up with a little phrase that describes how we operate. And that is, our business is dedicated to crafting enduring memories for those who visit our facility, ensuring that each experience becomes a cherished legacy passed through generations. We're really in the generational memories business here. Most of us are going to be going to the fair with our parents and taking our kids, and I'm honored to work in this industry because I had so many fond memories of going with my parents and my grandparents and taking my children. And now my children are taking their children. Want to look at some key happenings over the year. We made some really smart staff decisions. We promoted Trina Smith to our special events manager, from being our vendor coordinator. She's responsible for developing new self-promoted signature events throughout the year. Hannah Russell, we brought on board a year ago as a sponsorship and marketing coordinator. In her first year, she had $100,000 of new sponsorships.
Yeah. Very
You know, someone I did leave off this list was Megan, so. Megan joined our team last month in our finance department with Wanda, moving on to focus on her own business. She's over there in the corner. She's awesome. And then we hired Jason Gold and Will Becko Long for our maintenance department. We were really looking for people with specialties. They came on as summer help, and we retained them after the summer. Jason's a mechanic that came from the city of Portland. He maintains our ever-growing fleet of equipment, and Will is just a cleaning machine. Like you can turn loose on any building or bathroom, and it's gonna look like new. And it's done.
Wow.
Really great, two great additions to our team. Want to talk a little bit about some of our facility upgrades and changes we've done this year. We retrofitted almost all of our exterior lights with LEDs this year. We leaned into the Energy Trust of Oregon money, and I think we paid $7,000 total to do everything. We also replaced the door on Ely Barn. This required a bunch of structural repairs, to do this. That took several weeks to complete. We purchased another tranche of sheep and goat panels, so we're in our second year of 5-year commitment to spend $32,000 a year on new sheep and goat panels. So in 3 more years, we'll have a whole new fleet. And if anybody wants to buy some used sheep and goat panels, let me know. We removed the dilapidated shed and recut the driveway through the wine top lot. Put a new roof on the garage, the 10th Street garage, 10th Avenue garage. Then we upgraded all the lights in Ely Arena.
Oh, wow.
Ely Arena, the lights started failing about 2 months ago at the rate of 3 or 4 a week. So we went in and installed new lights, and the way the technology is going, we've been able to more than double the lumen output in there, so it's significantly brighter for our summer events, and will be brighter during, for our winter events, and be brighter during the summer. We purchased new bucking chutes for the rodeo arena in partnership with the Canby Rodeo Association. We built a new grand entry for our rodeo arena, so where all of the flag riders and contestants come in through our entry there at brand new, just beautiful. And we repaired and painted the ramp in our main pavilion. We'll take a quick look at 2023 at a glance. Ooh, sparkling. We had 343,100 people visit our property. That comprised of 390 events and meetings throughout the year. Median stay was 150 minutes on our property. And our property is ranked in the 76th percentile for similar properties nationwide. So we're in the top 25%. Overall revenue increased for fiscal year 22-23, so switching to fiscal year, by more than $700,000 over the average of the previous 3 years. And we cut out the 2 COVID years for 20 and 21, so 18, 19, and then 22 were counted in that. Some of our events that we've, some capstone events, some we produced, some we don't. We produced this. The first year, last May, was the Candy Brew Fest. It features live music, 80 beer crews on tap, food trucks, games. Both the Friday and the Saturday were sold out. We're expanding our capacity for this year, so we'll probably be able to get twice as many people in. Most of the alcohol was donated by local breweries or distributors. So it was a fundraiser for the new building. And at the end of the day, after paying all of our expenses, we were able to write a check to the foundation for $12,000. Everybody, I think, is familiar with the Oregon Renaissance Fair. We expanded to 3 weekends this last summer. 36,000 plus patrons over the 3 weekends. They sold out the Saturday and Sunday, all 3 weekends, and we're adding a 4th weekend in 2025 to that. I met with them today, and we're talking about making a 5th weekend in 2025. So that's kind of a big deal. True West concerts, we had Indigo Girls and Jason Isbell on 400 unit, kind of a trial concert this last summer, 2 days back to back. About 2,300 patrons per show. Oregonian named us as the newest outdoor music venue in the Portland market. So that's pretty exciting. And we're working with them really closely to bring some more shows in 2025. We couldn't accommodate the 2024 dates with our busy schedule. I'm sure you're familiar with Hairfest. It's a great event. People of my generation get together and listen to really great music that we remember from our childhood, and we pretend that we're 20 and 21 again. All of our bodies don't always cooperate. We renewed them for this year, and we're already in discussions for 25. As a side note, we're also talking with Hairfest promoters about the possibility of doing a different festival in late summer, early fall in 25 as well, a second. Quick look at the Clackamas County Fair, our capstone event. 103,000 people counted on site over the 5 days of our fair. We did have some extreme heat this year. Setup day, Monday before fair was 109. Opening day was 106. Wednesday was 103, and the Thursday was 102. Then Friday and Saturday were in the 80s, and everybody came Friday and Saturday, and I woke up Friday morning thinking there's no way we can recover from this, because our attendance was so far off. But at the end of the day, we were only down 4% revenue wise from our previous year, which was a record year. Rodeo revenue was only down 2%. Livestock auction proceeds, $830,000. We're shooting for $1 million this year. I think we can get there. And then, using a formula from Oklahoma State University, we estimate our economic impact to fair was $7.5 million. That's significant. We held this really fun event called Adult Prom. It was, when we went to prom in high school, we didn't have any money, we were insecure. The only liquor we could have was what we could sneak in. So now as adults, we've got some money, we don't care what people think, and the drinks come free-spike. So it was just a really great event. And we did this as an experiment to see if the community would support it, and they did. So we're planning on bringing them back again, this fall. I was informed that fall is homecoming, spring is prom, but we're sticking with the prom. We also did another experimental event that was successful, a paint and wine night with Victoria Night. We had 37 people that came and learned how to paint a beautiful picture, regular sandwiches and town provided snacks and wine. Then our final event for the year was our winter fair and holiday market. We had almost 6,000 people through our doors over the 5 weekends. We had 35 local crafters and vendors, 18 performing groups. We had Santa Clyde, you can see there in the picture, the singing Santa, featured over a 250,000 lights and nearly a half-mile walk through. New events for 2024. This is my Matt Bunch leprechaun. Or also not get some leprechaun, I'm not sure, AI generated it for me. We're adding our St. Patty's Day party fundraiser, which takes place next month. It's also a fundraiser for the new building. It's combined with a casino night. We think it's gonna do very well. We have the FFA horse show coming back. They are coming back after a long hiatus in April. We've got a canodal, I think it's how you say it, gun show in September. It's a new event. And a Celtic festival this year. I was on the phone today with the Celtic festival promoters, and they're 2025, they want to do sanctioned Highland Games as a part of their Celtic festival. So that should be pretty fun. We also went through a rebranding process for one of our capstone events, the Canby Rodeo. This has been the logo for a number of years. We really wanted to move to a position where we have a much more marketable product that people will be excited to buy on shirts and hats and what have you. So we rebranded it. Fireworks. The Canby Rodeo with horseshoe. This actual, the rider on this horse came out of our 1967 fair program promoting the rodeo. So we were able to repurpose that, put in Mount Hood in the background to represent the rest of the county that we live in. We do have some capital projects that we need to tackle this year. Rodeo arena bleachers. You sat in our bleachers, you probably left with a sliver or two in your rear end. Some of them are World War II surplus bleachers, and we spend a lot of time and effort and money every year replacing backboards to make them safe for our patients. So we want to try and tackle that in the next calendar year. We believe it's going to be about $500,000 to $650,000. Clackamas, you see this lovely picture here. Last week, we discovered a significant amount of dry rot and termite damage around almost the entire building. It's going to require us to jack it up and replace sill boards and studs. We're going to do that with our own team. Nice thing about some of our new additions with Jason and Will and Jeremy, one of our leads here, is they all have worked in construction. So we're going to be able to tackle that. We don't know what it's going to cost at this point. It's a fairly new problem. We also discovered some dry rot on the main pavilion beams, in the 100-year-old building. This year is 100-year celebration of the main pavilion. It was built in 1924. Our stalls need replacing. They're not safe and they have holes in the roof. We don't allow, animals installed during fair in there because of the safety issues. Kids store their tack and that's what goes in there. And then I have this grand idea that I would like to pave some of the roads through our yellow lot to cut down on dust and, just make the patron experience a whole lot nicer, and that's upwards of $400,000. So that is the year in review. It's been a fun one. It's been a while, right? A picture from our Candy Rodeo. Any questions on that?
Great.
Yes, very impressive.
It is.
There's so much work.
Worked really hard and we're great.
That's very dynamic, what he does.
I think you've come a long way in a very short amount of time. You really have. It's just, wow.
We're moving fast. And
You are.
that's the only way I know how to.
But I think it's going to avoid it for the public. It's very obvious. The public's coming out for your events. And what I've noticed is COVID and people are no longer afraid to do it. Events, any event anywhere, they're just watching to.
Yeah.
They miss that association. So I think you're hitting it just right.
And we do, I definitely have that social capital that we're building
Yeah.
in the events that we're doing. We're striving to move for more of our own events that we produce. We'll see when the new building is finished. We're looking at several different, we'll cover that in this next presentation, but self-producing gives us more control and more of the revenue than anything. So,
And Brian, what kind of budget do you have advertising all these events? I mean, I'm sure that there's people in our county and neighboring counties who they heard about some of these events, like the whole prom, for example. They like to come. How are you at?
so we spend about $90,000 a year for all of our events. We really focus on the channels that we can measure. That being social media, so we do a lot of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Is one that was really successful for us last summer. And it's our marketing guru, she's our Gen Z here, she understands how to do that stuff. We've done billboards, we do Candy Advantage magazines that, they mail out to every household, we do features in those. So there'll be one for the group for the St. Patrick's Day coming out at the beginning of March.
And on your website, how many weeks in advance do you post information on the events?
It depends on the type of event we're doing. Typically the life cycle and promotion for events is 45 days. So we come out with a big announcement, and event promotion has it starts out, you do a big push at the beginning to get your early adopters and get people talking about it. And then you kind of drop down into a trough where that word of mouth is starting to spread. People will see it every other day or every third day on their social media. And then we do a very focused ramp up as we get closer to the event. We focus on specific demographics. So one of the great things about social media is you can get really granular on who you're targeting. So we're going to promote Kids Day at the fair. We're reaching out to mothers from 20 to 45 because we know they're the decision makers in the household for that kind of event. And so we get really granular on those. If it's a broad event where we're just a shotgun approach, we have a much wider audience that we focus toward. That's the great thing about social media, especially when we tie that into our ticketing platform and our direct email platform. We can measure. If we send out a direct email, we can measure how many people from that made it to step one. They came to the event information page. How many people from that went through the sales funnel into the ticketing page, and from there, how many went all the way through the funnel to purchase. And if we see there's a large drop off in that process, we can go back and retool our language. We can go back and maybe give more information. If we're getting phone calls in the office about specific things they're looking for, we go back and we massage what we're doing pretty regularly. And a lot of times we'll try and add on social media and we won't get any traction on it. And so we cap that up as a swing and a miss, and we queue up something else.
So I have a question, how about your reach, geographic reach, are you getting a lot of people from out area? What does that look like? Because you have the means right now to test that.
Yes, I actually have a tool that I can measure that with. We see for fair, we're drawing people all the way from Eugene over the coast. We have a lot of people who come from Mission City, from the coast area, we draw all the way up into Vancouver. We even have people that come from, a lot of people come from Sandy, because the kids show, they're at a bit of 4-H kids show in our fair, so their families come and see them. But I have a program that I subscribe to called Placer. And the data you saw for the fair, how many people on the property, how long they stay, that's all comes from Placer, and they're a data-driven, cellular phone data-driven tool that aggregates anonymous cell phone data, uses some intelligence to figure out how many people, based on this many cell phones that we have on this property, how many people truly were here. They're about 98% accurate, is what they're. So, and I can pull up a map, it's a heat map that shows you where their homes are. It shows you what roads they travel, so we use that when we purchase the billboards, we know what the major travel routes are to get to here. But we also know where they were before they came to our events, and where they went afterwards, so. For fair, 65% of the people came from home. I can't remember all the numbers, but 65% sticks with me. For things like Spring Garden Fair, fewer people come from home, they come from work, or other attractions. And a lot of them go to restaurants afterwards. So this is a real key tool for us when we're working with the city, and with Mountain Territory on economic development and tourism. We can quantify and we can show that people come to our events. For fair, we're a one-stop shop. You come in our gates, you can eat, you can have entertainment, you can do anything you want. But for Spring Garden Fair, you come in, buy your plant, and then you go out to eat. And we can actually show that vision. It's pretty fascinating. And as a technology, AI, data nerd, I can get lost in that rabbit hole, but it's very, very cool. And, it's a powerful tool. It's not cheap, but it's powerful when it comes to, for instance, our sponsorship packages. When we're trying to attract a regional or a national chain as a sponsorship package, I'll give Weimar as an example. Weimar doesn't currently sponsor us, but we can show where the Weimar stores are on this map and how many people that come to our fair live in those areas. So, I mean, it's like liquid dynamite when it comes to the tools that it gives us, or the information it gives us to be able to reach out and close those sales. Our sponsorships are way up this year. It's another conversation. We raised our rates fairly significantly to kind of get up to where the market is at. The value proposition, they're able to see it, and then see the actual data. So I can actually draw a map around the rodeo arena and tell you where our rodeo specific people are, where they come from during their. Anyway, sorry, I guess I dragged. I don't want to be here all night, so let's,
Real quickly, just, I think all of you agree that it was a great hire to get right here, but he's got a great staff. So wanted to answer any questions, but to remind the commissioners that this is a working board also. So ultra focused during fair week, but throughout the year, then the fair board is actively working with the different events around.
so this is our exciting project, the multi-purpose buildings. The animation didn't work very well. Artist rendering of the building from the southeast. And this is from the northwest. I want to do a quick. Get up here. No. I want to show you the 360-degree tour of the interior. This is looking from the main entrance out To the east, you see Ely Barn and a truck out through our main entrance window. On the right side is the men's restrooms. Left side, the men's restrooms has showers. Left side, women's restrooms with showers. We've got a family restroom there on the left. We'll have a nice little place, so when we do concerts and other events in here, this would be a great spot for them to sell their merchandise. Let's see. Over here, and keep going left, sorry. This is our wall of appreciation. So when we start looking at ways to thank people that have supported us, actually build this project, this will be a wall that is dedicated just to thanking them. As you come down this way, there's a vestibule that goes all the way around on the south side of the building. Coming into our main hall, we have four 14-foot roll-up doors. This gray line down the center is actually a French drain that can be used for several different things, and I'll talk about one of the opportunities in a little bit. You see this little bit that hangs down here, this is the top to our air wall. So we can divide the space into 3 individual spaces for individual meetings. In the time where we have a disaster, we have evacuations coming in here, we can close off this back half and leave it just for animals and house people in the front half. That would give them access to the bathrooms and the showers. So it's a real critical resource when it comes to natural disasters and supporting our emergency operations in the county. We do have some big ass fans. That is a brand name. Seriously, it's called Big Ass Fans. But I kind of love what I just said. And looking further around the room, this shows a very highly polished concrete. It won't be a polished concrete because the animals have to be able to have some purchase in there. And on this end, we have 4 hand wash stations strictly for animal insurance that are there. Let's see. So that was our look around. Oh, it's not on. Sorry, I'm not getting stuff. Oh. There we go. So this is one of the questions I get asked a lot is timeline. This is the current timeline. This timeline has some ability to be sped up depending on how quickly permitting goes through. Or it has the possibility of being extended regardless if we have to wait a long time for permits. Once we get the PEME building, it's pre-engineered metal building designs done with the footings, we'll be applying for those permits first. Takes approximately 2 weeks once the engineering is done. We're this close. We have a meeting that we have to get to the city and Canyon Utilities to finalize the underground, under civil work, the underground stuff. So April 24, we have a scheduled pre-construction meeting with the city. May through July, we'll be doing the civil work, utilities, grading, excavation. We will go dark for most of August for fair. And then we come back in September and start with rebar and pouring the slab. October through November, the steel will be erected. January of 25 is when the ceiling, MEP and ducting, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and ducting is anticipated to be done in February through August, interior and exterior finishes. And August, about the middle of August, punch lists and final corrections. Then we anticipate occupancy September 25. If we can compress some of the permitting timelines, it's highly likely that we can get occupancy before fair 2025, which would be ideal. It would be a great opportunity for all of us partners to get together and celebrate this new building. I know permitting takes as long as permitting takes, I understand that, it's frustrating. Funding so far, the county's generously just, given us 4.8 million, as you know. We received 4.72 from the state. The city of Canby awarded us $250,000 in ARPA funding. We received a business origin grant of $277,777. We anticipate, sponsorships and fundraising to come up with $1.5 million. That includes the money that the foundation has earmarked for us. And we anticipate the potential of having to gap fund $2.5 million. But with as busy as this building is going to be, in the ways that we're anticipating using it, I don't think we'll have any trouble servicing a $2.5 million loan. And we spend $100,000 a year to rent a tent for summer. So, you know, move back from this bucket to the loan servicing bucket. That's, you have to do that. So we really see, and the exciting thing about this, aside from being a resource for county emergency operations, we see a lot of other operational opportunities for us. We've already been in conversation with Renaissance Fair, Hairfest, Spring Garden Fair, and several of our other large events on how we could use this as an expansion of what they do. It would be an additional revenue for us, and it gives them a really fantastic climate control facility to do activities and things in. We also will be adding new events. Some will self-promote, self-produce. We got a call a couple weeks ago about a dog agility company that wanted to come in and do a dog agility show on it. We're gonna have flea markets. I've been talking with a company that does sportsman shows. We're ideally situated for sportsman shows. South Portland, North Salem, a lot of folks around here like the sportsmen. So we'll be doing our own self-promoted concerts, and I've had meetings recently with the Fish, Christian music station out of Portland, bringing in some of their Christian concerts. We talked with True West about, once this building is done, what concerts can we bring through with them, and then also Hairfest, doing some expansion with theirs, and doing more events with the Hairfest team on year round. One of the things I did when it came to the design of this building is I made sure that on the west side, the second two girders are load bearing. So we can hang PA and we can hang lights from them without any sort of dangerous load on them. So we've got those that are load bearing. They're already being engineered to support those activities. And then we've just been kicking around a lot of ideas for interim use. We had someone reach out to us recently about doing pickleball lessons. And so when I talked about that French drain going up the hill, you can pull that out. And my team can fabricate something that goes down in there that the pickleball net stands can just drop right into. So, you know, if we want to, during the winter, offer indoor pickleball, which there is no indoor pickleball, within a reasonable driving distance, we can do that as like a membership, very much like we do our open ride for our horse riders. So we're excited about that. I was an indoor soccer player. I know I don't look like it. That was 30 years ago. Indoor soccer is a real possibility. It's set up in such a way that we can do basketball tournaments and other sporting events aside from the shows, the concerts, the lines. So that's my really big song on that. Any questions?
That's not very exciting. On the floor, concrete floor, it's gotta be sloped inward to the French drain. Is that gonna be a significant slope? It's going to,
No, we've discussed that, and we're not going to slope.
you're not gonna slope it.
We'll pressure wash and squeeze you.
You're gonna, okay. And then,
The reason is because the air walls that come in,
yeah,
they have to have an even surface on top.
yeah, okay, yeah, all right. And then, is there gonna be an effluent holding tank to receive the
Stormwater,
No, what you wash out of the barn,
that'll actually go into the sewer system.
it goes into
The candy sewer system.
okay,
We also have a retention pond that's part of this for stormwater, so we're adding another retention pond just north of Ely Barn. There, so we've got one over there that we call Lake Leroy. And there'll be another smaller, deeper version of that next year.
And what's gonna be the max occupancy of the barn?
2,600 in festival style standing room. 2,300 is really the number we're looking at, because when you throw a stage in there, you got floor space. And then we don't have a seated number yet, but that's what it's 2,300 is really the number we're focusing on.
Okay, and does the design include an area for storage for like tables and chairs?
It does, above the mechanical rooms, there's a loft, a mezzanine, a poured concrete mezzanine that will be able to lift up racks of tables and chairs next door. And then there are some storage closets downstairs on that east side.
Okay, good.
Excellent. Yeah. Good questions?
Yeah, great.
And one more question, Brian. Or the HVAC system that you're gonna put in. Tell us about that.
Okay, so there's 3 separate air handlers, I'll show you here. So you'll see there's 2 HVAC systems on the west side, and then there's one down past door number 1. Each one of those serves, door number 1 serves the first section and the office space in the bathrooms. And then these 2 serve the second and third section. I also applied for and received a grant from the state of Oregon for 2 air scrubbers. There's enormous things that you put in a building and it just sucks out all of the particulate matter. So if we have a wildfire situation, it's gonna be the cleanest air in the area.
Wow.
And then during the fair, we have animals in there, and we have an event with animals. You just bring in just straw and put it down,
Shavings,
shavings, yeah, okay.
it's the same thing we use for, in the tent area, they make a shave out there with shavings in there.
And then you take them out with like a front end loader or a bobcat with a rubber blade on it.
Yeah, we'll bring in, so we get donated as part of the fair, one of our sponsors provides us a loader. So we'll go in and we'll scrape most of the big stuff off, then we're gonna have to sweep it into piles and get it out. Just what we do in the grouse, we have to and scrape them all in piles and then put the piles away.
And this barn's gonna be used for cattle.
So that's really up to the superintendent for the 4-H and FFA, but the plan is beef and hogs.
Okay, hogs too, okay. Good, well, thanks.
So this is 44,000 square feet all told. And the big tent is 32,000 square feet. So we'll be able to have a show ring in there. We've got to sort out watch station, but we've got a year and a half to figure that out.
So I got a question on the floor, only because been part of and worked in a lot of areas that had floors more with intention, right? And the experience is that if someone wants a flat floor, right? I mean, you can get professional. If you want a flat floor, you don't end up with a flat floor, you end up with really puddles, right? If you have a wet environment. So I don't know how often or how wet the facility will be under certain events, but
Probably once a year.
okay, once a year. But I'll tell you, squeeging, which I've done too much of, I will tell you that's very challenging with that much square feet. So I understand the rationale of having a flat, being flat where the dividers are. And it can be built to where you have multiple areas that have swale but flat on the edges. And it's
Huge, but maybe flat where the walls go across, and then we create a little bit of.
right, when you slope it toward the drain, I'll just tell you, you know, how miserable it can be sometimes when the water doesn't go where you want it to go. And when it's all wet, it can go in the wrong place, and you can't have enough people to do the floor. That side of the floor, it'd be nightmarish. I saw the French drain, well, that makes great sense, but people that do French drains like that, or those linear drains, they'll very intentionally slope. But you can't have both.
It's very good going, I'll take that back there.
Yeah.
And see what we do. That, I like that. I've not done a lot of squeeze units, so.
You know, big huge plant facilities, you know, I've done, you know, bin part, I've done a lot of
Well,
that.
Paul, who's have to fire you?
Now,
Yeah, squeegee consult.
now, if you want cement side, you get a lot of steps in.
No, they do make the squeegee. Well, we do have Bobcat squeegee, but we do have one of those right on floor buffers that have a vacuum. So that's kind of like you see at the grocery stores.
Yeah,
But that takes forever too. And they talk about 38,000 square feet.
what color are you gonna have the outside?
That's it.
That's it.
Yep, we've got a CMU, a gray CMU at the bottom. This is the brick kind of thing. And like an off-white upper. The idea is to have it match fairly closely with our chicken barn and Ely barn and not really stand out. Someone originally at our neighbor meeting suggested red. And we said, that's interesting. That's the plan for now. I mean, all of the paneling comes from Pacific Building Systems, pretty covered it. We just thought of it, but contractor was. I know exactly what you're talking about, concrete. The last structure I did was just it was a pretty large picnic pavilion with a concrete floor, no sides on it. And you just can't get to it flat. This will be a home concrete, so I think we can get some of the peaks out of it. It's never perfect.
It's pretty awesome to have a very well-designed floor that you can wash out and almost walk away from, which is self-training.
Yeah.
And again, you can have those flat areas where the providers, but, it's huge labor savings. And it's also a lot more sanitary as well.
Then we take that back to engineers. Love it,
Nice.
So at this point in the program, we've decided that it would be advantageous to open it up for discussion between the commissioners, open discussion between the commissioners and the fair board. So any questions you may have for the commissioners, any questions that the commissioners may have for us, we're open for an open conversation. There you go, thanks.
Don't have any.
So I think the biggest thing, one that would affect us here at Fairgrounds and certainly affects the county is tolling. And so.
What?
Tolling.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, we waved our magic wand and ended it. Don't you know that?
you did, thank you.
No, I mean, we were able to, convince the governor and the legislature because of the work of commission staff and we hired an attorney firm. Put a 2-year pause on things. If that hadn't happened, you would all be paying tolls today. So we're continuing to work on that. We're continuing to support IP4 referendum to voters to vote for tolls. So we are working diligently on it. The short legislative session, the 45-day Oregon legislative session is being conducted right now, and they're not discussing toll.
On that, President Munch, there was about 4 weeks ago that the Oregon State Department of Human Resources went out with an advertisement to hire a new state tolling administrator. So that should tell you the determination ODOT has to force tolling down the throats of not just Oregonians, but everybody who travels up and down the west coast up through our county. And so, right now, our best weapon to defend ourselves against threat of tolling is IP4. So if you haven't signed the petition IP4, you can download it on votebeforetolls.org and sign it, and have your family sign it, your neighbors. We really need full court press throughout the state, every corner of the state, to sign that IP4, because that's our only hope. I'm convinced that if IP4 fails, ODOT, the governor, will have that tolling up and going January 2026 maybe. And like we discussed many times, when it begins, typical commuter going from, for example, Happy Valley to Tualatin and back 5 days a week, 2,400 bucks. That's 2,400 bucks at the beginning, but as you know, everything else goes up. And, out of that, out of every tolling dollar that you pay, we're not sure, 60 cents, 65 cents maybe, goes just to overall operational costs of toll. So you get very little concrete and steel out of this tolling business. So I'd be for at votebeforetolls.org.
Yeah, I'm happy to, well, not happy about this, but I'm happy to share and answer any questions on this. But I will just tell you that our biggest concern about the pause unexpectedly was that the governor canceled, essentially, or ODOT canceled indefinitely the 205 project, which means one of the largest incentives for people to divert today, right now. People are coming from all different directions. You know what diversion routes are. 99E out here is one of the diversion routes. So people get off at either the Miley Road exit, or they get off at Donald or at Ellen, come down from here, and the mayor of Canby, Mayor Hudson is well aware of this. So the concern is that if we already know we have a diversion problem on 99E for you all here at the fair, in operations, can you imagine what that'll be increase if when tolling is applied? It'll be significant, right? We know that. I was in a meeting today with ODOT staff, and the what we call mitigation is essentially their plan, which I was promised by the state legislator McLean, that they would have mitigation in place, you know, solutions, so to speak, sort of solutions in place before tolling started. Well, ODOT staff today indicated, in their presentation, that mitigation would be based on their, what they call monitoring, the monitoring program. The monitoring is actually after tolling starts. So essentially, you know, my question was, well, how much mitigation will be done before tolling starts? And is it possible that none of it will happen? Well, the answer was yes, perhaps none will happen until afterwards. So the promise made by the chair of the transportation subcommittee, or the transportation committee, was false. It was a false hope that they would do mitigation first. One thing I will tell you is that mitigation is not a solution, but it can help, right? Alleviate some of the problems by either widening roads or making safety improvements and so forth, or fixing intersections or adding intersections where there aren't any. But I will tell you this, we are very, very confident that the cost of the mitigation, if they were to do it responsibly, out cost what they're trying to fund projects for fivefold. By my initial numbers in Clackamas County alone, it's about $50 to $60 million a mile to improve a road that is either county or city that's not improved today, meaning old standards, old standards that might be of road and culverts, Stafford Road, Eck Road, Barnum Road, all those roads, parts of 99E as well. So it's momentous. And as I said many years ago when this thing first started, is that they are creating problems that they don't need to create, and they're greater than the solution that they're trying to fix. That's been my message to the state. It's been our testimony. We're extremely concerned about this, and I don't think it's going to be good for Canby, let alone Gladstone, Westland, Oregon City, and other parts. The cut through traffic is going to be severe, and there's no path. The best thing they can do is drop this, go to Plan B, whether that's a gas tax increase or a road user charge, which is coming down the pike, but their funding problems are real, but a lot of the people what we're fighting a political animal in which some legislators believe that congestion is a good thing, tolling is a good thing, they can force people out of their cars and they can take transit. Well, there's not much transit in Clackamas County, so that's not a real solution. And that's what we're fighting. So the decision makers, the lawmakers are not in the right place. Some of them are, but we're losing a lot of state legislators as well. There's a lot of attrition, so some of the people coming in are more anti-road, no new highway, no new freeway kind of thing, and I think tolling is the best thing since life bread. So, my concern is that we have state legislatures, it's also gonna solve ODOT's funding problems, y'all heard about snow plows, and we can't fund all that. So we're saying, well, tolling's the answer, well, we're tolling the car, starting to plaque was county. And the belief is that starting in Clackamas County will lead to solving the statewide solution. So Clackamas County is gonna fund statewide problem of funding, because we're the guinea pigs, we're first. I said a lot, stop there.
I'd just like to follow up. This board has been totally united on fighting and trying to stop it as much as any political body in the entire state of Oregon. And we've really exhausted all of our means, and that's why we voted to support the signature, and every single person in this room needs to download the petition with a wet signature and snail mail it back in. That's our technology. Okay, that's what the Secretary of State requires. You can't do an electronic signature and push a couple buttons, Brian, and send it back. They just don't do that, and you must be a registered voter, I know it. So, it's up to you. We've done everything, we spent money on the attorney firm. When the ODOT came out with a 2,000-page environmental assessment statement, we hired an attorney firm, our transportation staff sat down and then we read it. And then we answered that with almost a 30-page rebuttal to them, expecting ODOT to say anything, they just ghosted us. But that rebuttal was used for the governor to put a pause on his phone. My last conversation with the governor was, remember, this governor was Speaker of the House that pushed this through when she was Speaker. And now she's governor. And we had, lunch with her a couple months ago. She says, well, let's talk transportation. You do know, I just put a pause on tolling, and tolling is coming. Have all your concerns been addressed? He says, no, not a single one of them, Governor. This hasn't been done. This hasn't been done. And I went down the list. Part of it was some of the things that Commissioner Savage said. And I had backup of the room. Thank you very much. I had 2 other elected officials in there that confirmed everything I was saying. And she was on a keynote and she says, what do you mean they haven't been addressed? What do you mean? I was shocked at her shock. So I'm not sure how engaged she's in. I think she's pushed the buttons and pushed this buttons and then just letting it go. So I do think there could be a legislative fix, since the legislators are the ones that voted for this. They can vote not to do this, but in the short session, there is not a political will to do it. They're dealing with homelessness and they're dealing with major ordinance. And maybe a few other little kind of problems, so, if you guys could do that, it would help.
Any questions? Okay, I'll bring up the courthouse, but, what are we gonna do with the old courthouse? What's the plan for the old courthouse? I've got several questions. You see no one going up, any plan for the old one?
The Board of County Commissioners has not yet decided on the plans for the courthouse, and there is some interest in it. I think, I know where I come down on, I'd like to see it redeveloped and put back on the tax rolls for economic development. Okay, I'm not interested in giving it to any other government agency and having it sit there not producing income or jobs. Now, that's just me. And we are holding tight on it until we get everybody moved out. Or maybe the board wants to consider it sooner, we're open to that, but, we're sitting on, all right. They won't even move out, Matt, until August of 2025.
Right. Right. You have somebody coming in the back doors.
And Clackamas County does own that courthouse.
Any questions for us?
No, I think you guys are doing great.
Thanks for-
I'm just so happy. I come here, this is my happy place. I told you that the other day.
Yeah. And it's gone now, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
I think the dynamics of the board and the professional level that has graduated to the board again. Brian's executive leadership is a lot in that branch. Thank you for noticing.
You bet.
All right, at that, we'll take a break. Let the commissioners get on their schedule if they like. You're more than welcome to stay if you have more county specific business. Sure.
I'd love to, but I still have a lot of work to do today, so.
Yeah.